story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
The employment record of a Miss Stella Chernak. A routine form filled out and processed through the administrative channels of Doctors Hospital. A routine form removed secretly from the hospital by Betty Anderson and given to Stephen Cord in the name of the defense of Rodney Harrington.
Well? Is that all just, I mean, I thought it would at least be the secret clue or the vital missing link or something.
I can see we're going to have the mystery magazines removed from the nurse's lounge. I wish it did happen that way. I'm going to have to double-check this information. Hope to find a flaw somewhere. Maybe it's here, maybe someplace else. In any case, I'm not minimizing what you did.
I didn't do it for a silver star.
Why did you do it?
I guess because Gus Chernak said that Stella was going to have Rod put back in jail.
Is that all it was?
I don't know. Let's just say it was a commitment to the cause.
And young Mr. Harrington accepted it with his usual graciousness. You know, Rodney were drowning and somebody tried to pull him out. He'd asked to see his life-saving badge.
Your impression.
Bad psychology. I attack him, you defend him. It'll always be that way.
Perhaps I should leave the defending to you. Guess I better go. Will Agent X be able to return the secret microfilm before the bomb explodes?
Betty?
How do you think I'd look in a trench coat?
Be careful.
Oh, Miss Choate.
Dr. Rossi, I heard you were trying to reach me.
Yes, yes. Would you, well, that's very festive, Miss Choate.
Yes, aren't they? Mrs. Adams sent them after she was discharged.
Well, how thoughtful.
It's nice to be appreciated.
Yes, and would you pull me the personnel folder on Miss Chernak, please?
Surely.
Whenever I see carnations, it always reminds me of the man I studied with in New York, Dr. Zeitner. He was in his 70s, and every morning his wife used to send him to work with a fresh-cut carnation in his lapel. He used to say that carnations reminded him that every day was new and fresh and filled with exciting possibilities.
He must have been a charming man.
Yes. Yes, he was.
Here.
Oh, thank you. Did Miss Chernak fill out a career history?
Yes, it's there.
There's a Social Security form, the application form, personal medical record. Career history doesn't seem to be here.
Doesn't the board have final approval on the personnel for your project?
Yes?
Well, someone wanted to review her qualifications. If you need it right away, I'll run it down for you.
Well, yes, let me know when it comes in.
Would you like one of these for your lapel, Doctor?
I'm afraid that may be out of character, Miss Choate. Thank you.
Yes, this is Miss Choate. Will you ask Evelyn if the board requisitioned Stella Chernak's career history? Yes, I'll wait. Chernak. C-H-E-R-N-A-K.
There's nothing to follow up on. Sorry I'm late, Miss Choate.
But you're right on time. What is your schedule right now, Miss Anderson?
Just have to complete the log and then I'm free.
Good. I have a chore for you. Miss Chernak's file has disappeared. Well, Dr. Rossi asked for it and it seems to have been misplaced. Look, I spilled something on me at lunch. I want you to track down that file as soon as possible.
Miss Choate, I've been looking for you.
You found me.
Have you found me a replacement for Mrs. Fowler?
No, Mrs. Townsend couldn't be spared, but I'll be glad to fill in this afternoon. I'll see you in therapy at 4.
I can hardly wait.
What?
Till 4 o'clock. Wait till I tell the kids the treat they've got coming. An hour of ice without the cream.
Go now, Elliot?
In a minute, Dad, in a minute.
You can't rush the tide. It'll ebb and flow when it's supposed to, and not before.
I think of all the times I've gone to bed late and stepped into her room just to look in on her. And worry she might wake up and just see me standing there. I was so careful not to wake her.
Let's go.
Well, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Garrett?
You been here long?
Just a few minutes.
Did you notice any movement at all?
No?
I've been reading your editorials in the Clarion, Mr. Carson. You're a good writer. I was wondering if you had any response to your open letter to the hit-and-run driver.
No, nothing.
Have the police uncovered anything?
Nothing. Can she feel that?
Feel? Well, you can't have to redefine your terms. She's not aware of it. But her body tissues will respond.
You know, I'd feel a lot less helpless if I could do something like that. What exactly goes into it?
Well, in my particular case, a Bachelor of Science degree, 2 years of clinical instruction, 2 more of staff work, and 5 in private practice.
Doesn't look too difficult.
Well, neither does writing an editorial. But I know how long it'd take me to learn how to write one as well as you do. It's a skill. So's this.
Oh, come now, Mr. Gary. You can't tell me there's anything occult about what you're doing.
I'm not implying that there is. I'm just saying that I'm qualified to do it. I'm not qualified to teach you how.
But isn't it just a matter of circulation, of keeping the muscles from atrophying? Aren't you sort of a surrogate motor system?
But if you stop to think about it, the motor system of a human being is the most complicated piece of machinery there is.
Elliot, I think we should leave Mr. Gehring to his work. I'm sure he has other patients to take care of. Elliot, that was uncalled for.
I don't want that man handling my daughter.
But you didn't object before.
Yes, I know. But before there was something different about it. It was more impersonal.
Elliot, this is a hospital. Mr. Gehring is a trained therapist. He's a professional in every sense of the word. We should be mighty glad to have him here.
I don't know. I get a little overprotective about Allison sometimes. I don't know, maybe.
Miss Anderson, have you located Miss Chernak's records yet?
No, I've checked with Dr. Morton's office in the lab. I'm sure they're bound to turn up somewhere.
Miss Choate, Miss Chernak's records haven't turned up yet.
I'm sure Miss Anderson will find them.
It's 4 o'clock, Miss Choate. Aren't you doing therapy?
Thank you for reminding me, Miss Anderson.
Any messages? No, there aren't. Thank you.
Dr. Morton, telephone line 2. Dr. Morton, telephone line 2.
May I see that? You took them.
Yes?
When Dr. Rossi suggested hiring you, I was very much against it. With what I knew of you, I expected you to be a girl who...
What?
At the very least, I expected you to be flighty and silly. I give credit where credit is due, Miss Anderson. I know I haven't made it easy for you, but in learning to do your job, you've learned to behave responsibly. Until now.
I'm sorry about this.
It's obvious to me now that you did it for Rodney Harrington.
I'm the one you caught, Miss Choate.
You do realize the seriousness of what you've done.
Yes.
Yet your first thought was to protect your ex-husband. It may even cost you your job.
He's in trouble.
I can understand how you'd still feel some concern for him. But to weigh this sympathy against the risk to yourself...
You don't. Somehow you don't figure the cost, I mean.
You must still care a great deal for this young man.
I said it's because he's in trouble.
I've never allowed myself to become so involved with anyone. My job has always come first. Of course, I realize the demands are not the same.
Miss Choate.
I have a dog, Brandy, a spaniel. He's old now, but even then, they demand so little. I've had 3 dogs, each named Brandy. A dog's life is not very long. You just begin to get attached to them. And then they're gone. I'll have to tell Dr. Rossi the truth about this.
I understand.
Not because I want to. I hope you understand that, too.
Yes, Mr. Cord?
Anne, would you come in, please?
Yes, sir.
Anything on that call to Los Angeles?
I checked the operator 5 minutes ago, and Mr. Lawrence hasn't returned yet.
Okay, Anne, stay with it. Is that the cover letter?
It's all ready. I put Theodore Dowell, counselor at law, at the bottom under your name.
Fine. That's the name of the firm. Hello.
Mr. Cord, please.
This is he.
Mr. Lawrence returning your call, sir.
Oh, yes, put him on. Thanks, Sam.
Hello?
Mr. Lawrence?
Speaking.
I don't know if you remember me. I contacted you last year. I was with Wainwright and Kennerly.
Oh, yes. You still with them?
I know. I left them several months ago to join Theodore Dow. Right now, we're handling the defense in a murder trial.
Martin Peyton's grandson?
Oh, that's right. Martin Peyton's grandson. I want to send you the précis on the prosecution's key witness.
A complete rundown.
That's right. Where she worked, who she worked for, so on. Anything you can find. References, credit ratings, the works. You should receive the précis this time tomorrow. Day after at the latest.
I'll be looking for it.
Just so we understand each other, if you uncover anything of a personal nature, anything at all, be sure to track it down.
We'll get on it right away. The more personal, the better.
Yes.
Goodbye, Mr. Coy.
Goodbye.
So, chart of cross-references from the journals.
No, I thought you were going to put them in file cards.
Well, you might find this simpler to keep track of.
I asked to look at your personnel file.
Why not? I'm surprised you didn't do it a long time ago.
Do you think the delay indicates a lack of healthy curiosity?
I doubt it. I prefer to think it's a lack of native caution.
Are you suggesting I'm inclined to take people at their face value?
Only some people. It's a bad habit, Doctor. It could be dangerous.
Oh?
Some people might think you've been too casual, not bothering to check into all those tiresome references, credentials.
Well, in that case, I'd better not waste any more time.
No, you've been wondering why I wouldn't write to Professor Tobin. That's it? Isn't it, Michael?
Belated native caution.
Well, you won't find the answer in my references. I suppose you've noticed that I haven't included Professor Tobin's name.
No, I don't know. I haven't seen him yet. Miss Choate tells me they're missing from the files. They've either been misplaced or someone has requested them. I'll have to wait.
You think I may have requested it?
Well, that thought may have entered my mind.
You do go from one extreme to another, Michael. I have nothing to change or hide. My history is an open book, quite drearily dull. I wonder who could have found it such interesting reading.
Must have been requested routinely by one of our other departments.
Routinely? I routinely handed it in. I routinely filled it out and gave it to Betty Anderson 1 week ago today. Where it is now, routinely, I wouldn't know.
Come in.
Will you excuse us for a moment, Miss Chernak?
Yes, of course.
Well, where did these turn up?
Dr. Rossi, it was taken from my office by Miss Anderson.
Taken on hospital business?
No, Doctor. I went in there and I found Miss Anderson trying to replace it in my file cabinet.
Replace it, you mean? Replace what she stole? Is that what you're trying to say?
I've never defended her before, so you can't say I'm prejudiced in her favor.
No, I can't.
In this case, I wish we might consider the circumstances.
Well, Miss Choate, you've always insisted, and quite rightly, that the people we hire to work at this hospital be of good character.
I still do, Doctor.
In our jobs, circumstances are a luxury we cannot afford to consider, Miss Choate. Thank you.
work at Doctor's Hospital? Children's therapy?
Of course, my wife's mentioned you.
The kids have been asking about her. I didn't have any answers for them.
She's in Boston visiting her sister.
Will she be coming home soon?
Well, she's taking a little rest. She's been kind of run down.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Nothing serious, I hope.
Oh, I don't think so. You'll have to excuse me, Mr. Gehring. I have a long night's work ahead of me, and my dinner, such as it is getting cold.
I didn't mean to hold you up. I'd sure hate to lose Mrs. Fowler. The kids like her so much. She doesn't talk down to them, you know what I mean? Do you know if she plans to come back to the hospital when she gets home?
I really don't. She hasn't mentioned anything about it.
I see. Maybe you could do me a favor. I try to get the kids to work with their hands as much as possible. And since they miss your wife so much, I had a few of them print some letters to her. It's good exercise for them. I thought she would appreciate having them.
I'm sure she would.
Could I have her address?
Number 11 Green Tree Road, Boston. Care of Sloan.
Care of Sloan. Thank you.
Not at all.
Any calls?
Mr. Hazlitt,
Who?
the Law Journal.
Oh, yes. Anything else?
No. Mr. Carter wanted to talk to you about the prosecution of the narcotics case last year.
Are you sure there were no calls from Boston?
Yes, sir.
Well, that'll be all.
Operator, I want to call Boston, station to station, Hancock 67788.
Hello?
Hello, Phyllis.
John, how are you?
Oh, fine, just fine. May I speak to Marion?
Marion? But she's not here, John.
You mean she's gone out?
John, I haven't seen Marion in weeks.
You wouldn't kid me, would you, Phyllis?
Not about my favorite sister.
Okay, Phyllis, I just thought she might be there.
Have you sent her here with a pocket full of shopping money?
That's right.
Well, then she'll be dropping by.
Well, she may not have time.
She always calls me from the station.
Phyllis.
I know my sister.
She won't be able to resist showing off what she's bought.
Oh, don't count on it.
John?
I've got to go, Phyllis. Goodbye.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
I have never hesitated to involve anyone who I thought might be able to help me get what I wanted.
You're defending a boy who's on trial for murder.
Beginning to feel like there's a conspiracy against me.
Is there anything in your personnel records that I should know about?
And the next time extenuating circumstances come along, what will that force you to do? Falsify someone's records or take a supply of narcotics?